Hello, my name is Lawrence Carson, and this is the conscious operating system of your mind in introduction. It's about 50 to 60 minutes, depending upon how long I take with each slide. So let us begin. If you're in a hurry, this is not the time for you to be watching this. This is a slow down, think, take time, and absorb, because most of the principles that we're going to look at and think about are very new. Let's go. That's where we're at. And I might suggest that from time to time you come back, watch this a second time, then a third, and a fourth. You'll be surprised how much more these issues and principles will sink in. So hopefully you've watched parts 1 and parts 2, brief introduction to the University of Wisdom, because some of the things we're sharing here is assuming you've already been exposed to those concepts. If not, you might want to stop this and go back and watch parts 1 and parts 2, a brief introduction to the University of Wisdom. Again, that symbol was presented during the first two sessions in the introduction to the University of Wisdom. Now, feel free in any of these slides to pause the movie, do a print screen, that key on your keyboard, and then print it on Microsoft Word or Excel, whatever you prefer, and use them. But please do not produce them to give to other people. Ask other people that are interested to come see the video. What's on the other side of the screen? The film. True or false? Don't just mentally feel it. Feel the reality that these words are trying to point us into. Are those words truth or idea or thought or love or wisdom? Are they even pointing to realities if consciousness does not exist? What about a thought and an idea? Does thoughts come before ideas, or do ideas come before thoughts? And are ideas out there that we never think about? Does wisdom come before or after what love actually is, what love actually does? Are electrons conscious? Do they know what they're doing and how to do it? All of them at the same time? That's a lot of activity. And co-resonating, we all might recall, co meaning together, resounding, sounding back and forth and back and forth and back and forth like an echoing chamber, oscillating and vibrating. That's what consciousness does. So there is the big picture map or model of what I believe to be the conscious operating system attributes that when all brought together, consciousness is. And remove any one of those little squares or the red lines, and consciousness stops, no longer exists in the universe, including no more electrons, protons, neutrons, gluons, and all of the other on member families, members. So, there's being totally ignorant of what consciousness is. And there again is the model for consciousness. Then there's the bachelor's degree, the master's degree, the doctoral degree, and the wisdom degree. There's a beta level of thinking, or there's an alpha level of meditating, there's a theta level of meditating, and there's the delta level of meditating. On each and every core principle of your life. And when I use the word meditation, it means to travel farther where words can never take you. Again, introduction to the University of Wisdom, maps are not reality. So there's the full map. And now we're going to start looking at the P portion, the letter, and what it stands for. I really hope you like this. I've got years of study. You might want to memorize CESFADS. It's an acronym that I've made up, but now I even use it as words, because each one of those letters represents some very, very profound realities in our universe. And the word principium, as implied, came from Latin. Principium literally meant and means at the beginning. So, what was at the beginning before time and space? Before duality? Before the Big Bang? Remember, 1 times 10 to the 80 number of 80 zeros, electrons make up our reality's universe. Everything is living. Those principiums are alive, energy. When they were teaching physics in high school, none of this ever came up. And when I went through nuclear power school to become a reactor operator on a nuclear submarine, they didn't say all energy is consciously living, otherwise the patterns would not self-replicate. This is brand new stuff, for me at least. If you notice, each one of these prepositions preposition how close or far you are from the subject being thought about. I never knew that in English, not even at the university. It literally was staring me in the face. And how dumb am I? I didn't even get it. But after I had my near-death experience, went into the 0 point field, the stillness of the silence of the infinite and eternal, then the celestial tour guide came and talked me out of there and allowed me to go into 3 amazing, totally different types of libraries and into the essence of energy, the string theory, the photon creators. Then I got to read books. And when I woke up, I never, ever was thinking the same. So using the prepositions, we have the truth about love, which is not the love about truth. Think about it slowly. Or the truth of love. It's not the same as the love of truth. Think of the world. Watch television tonight. The news, or don't. And notice if we take those prepositions in a simple way, the truth about love is not the same as the truth of love. The truth of love is a little closer feeling. The truth with love, it's even closer yet. And the truth is love, that's that one with. Prepositions are good little tools to change your distant location from the reality you're contemplating. And here's a number of different CREGs. And in a future session, we're going to discuss in detail what CREGS stands for. But for now, we're just going to say that's what they look like. Now, if you pick one or more and read those words, feel them. I would suggest that this would be a good screen to take a print of and just take one of these concepts like curiosity and commitment and meditate on the curiosity of commitment for 2 minutes. Curiosity of commitment, curiosity of commitment, and get the feel for how powerful that curiosity reality is. And then notice the frequency, amplitude, and density, the fad difference between the curiosity state and commitment state. And then do 2 or 3 or 4 minutes on the commitment of curiosity or about curiosity, or commitment is curiosity. There's a lot of different meditative expeditions you can do with these 8 words. And you can have communion of truth and truth of communion. You can mix them up any way you like. It's your university, and the requirement to be the student in the University of Wisdom, you have to be your own professor. And like I said, I highly recommend you come back and watch this session 2 or 3 times. You go to the tools, you go to meditation, you go to some of the other sessions, and then come back to this one and watch it again. It's going to have a totally different feeling for you. I guarantee you. It's a spiral learning, not circular learning. I really, really like this. I would bet that some of you watching this are going to have beliefs generating emotions that do not want you to ask that last question more than once, because they do not want to be found out. And they will create the most stinking skunk emotions so your curiosity is dulled. Don't let that happen. Later on in future sessions, we're going to give to you the exact way you can train your beliefs to obey you and not you unconsciously obeying them. I mentioned that this is a class session. And generally speaking, for each hour of class session, each subject needs to be explored in the laboratory of your mind, generally 40 hours or more. 1 hour of reading, 40 hours of practice. Not 40 hours straight, but an hour here, 2 hours there, maybe on a Sunday, and throughout the year. And only you can write your core curriculum. You are the sovereign agent. At these levels of competency, don't ever let anyone tell you what the truth is, ever, including me. If and when I forget, because I'm going to forget. My beliefs aren't totally trained yet. Everything is energy, unless it's time and space. Let's just take the principium of the mind, MIND, meandering in noetic dimensions. Question: where does the space of your mind end and the space of the universe begin? Or is there even a distinction dividing? What separates it, if anything? Are you living in the mind of the universe? Is the universe's mind living inside of you, whoever you consider yourself to be? No, this is not about religion. Pure awareness doesn't miss a thing. However, Physicists now tell us that the universe has photon frequencies of 1 times 10 to the 6 to 1 times 10 to the minus 21 or minus 22. That's really fast. Our eyes see photons that are 1/10 of a billionth of that entire electromagnetic spectrum. 1/10 of a billionth. We don't see squat. We only see photons as human beings. Guess what we see when we're not stuck in the human body? It's not photons, in my belief. Are our awareness states that are perceiving, astute, are they have high acuity level? When I was out of my body going into one of the university's library, I could tell my face was not parallel to a wall 30 feet away, because when I was talking, the vibration hit my left ear before my right ear. That is high sensory acuity. Do I have it now down here with my ears? Yeah, right. We have no clue how brilliant we are when we leave this density called planet Earth. No clue. I assume perceptions. Which one is right? Which one is wrong? Should you memorize this symbol? Could it be a guiding light for wisdom? Okay, let's continue. R sub 1. We talked about principles. We've talked about awareness. Many years ago, when I was in the Navy, I had a green sports car, came out of Italy, and I was racing on a small, narrow road in New England. No other cars were around, and I was time trialing and I hit sand going around a corner. It spun my car 360 twice over about a 7-foot embankment, bounced off of a huge rock and into a swamp. Everything slowed down, real slow. Years later, I tried to figure out, and I didn't get hurt. Car, I can't say that for the tail end of the car, though. But years later, I come to realize when we get into fear, our mind takes many, many awareness snapshots each second, as opposed to 3 or 4, or 20 or 60 snapshots a second. Instead of snap, 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 it went, and then I was watching in memory every one of those little snapshots, which made it feel like time slowed down. But in fact, what happened was my perception, my perception of all those little events made time slow down, seemingly. I thought it was kind of cool. I had no idea that my camera of awareness can speed up his f-stop and everything. It just blew me away. I hope you're liking what I'm wanting to share with the world. We got to stop the ridiculous wars, the mayhem on women and children. Horrible. Makes me so sad. What do I want? What do I perceive? What's the variance or difference? Now let's go to R2, the reasoning, the thinking. And IQs can stand for many different frequency levels of IQs. Ignorant questions, important questions, insightful questions, internal questions, ingenious questions, infinite questions. And only one level of IQ will only attract its level of the answers. Intelligent questions will only attract intelligent answers. They will not attract ingenious answers. And if you don't know the difference frequency-wise, guess what? Is not going to happen. Again, the maps are not the territory. You're only experiencing the words and not experiencing the realities that are profound. What did is the past. What does is right now. And what will in the future. All fear relies on future, the will. All guilt, embarrassment, shame, all relies on the past. Where did that time go? These questions are extremely profound. We're going to stay with these for a couple more slides. Meanings that matter, motivate, and manifest things that are meaningful. So you get in a slump, a poor attitude, where your children are, they're getting sad, they're making that frequency by the meanings they're putting on their perceptions of what's going on outside of them. They're allowing the outside world to change the frequencies of their inside reality because they have never been taught. And psychiatrists, psychologists, psychics, they're not teaching you how to do it by yourself. So guess who is not a sovereign free agent? If we don't have the Conscious Operating Systems Manual, we are not free at all. We're captive. And it's so sad. Has anyone ever offered you the tools to control your conscious operating system? Ever? Now notice the top is about meanings, the bottom is about what really matters. Matters of importance can't happen if there's not a meaning generating electricity, power into what matters in our emotions. I need help. I need a number of different institutions and or people to help me create an online digital University of Wisdom. I need 12 members to be on the board. And these members must have a high sense of curiosity, hugely competent in their expertise, and have a huge commitment to change the human psyche over the next 10 years on this entire planet. I can't do this by myself. Please help me find 12 provost marshals. So when mom said in the 40s and 50s, if you're as old as I am, mind your P's and Q's, son, she wasn't talking about the British pints and quarts. There is just one matrix of hundreds that we can use to comprehend at much deeper levels reality concepts in this universe. P, your purpose. Do you know what it is? Or do you have more than one? Do you know the processes you use to fulfill those purposes? Do you know where you're at? Not just externally, do you know where you're at internally in terms of what frequencies, amplitudes, and densities you're at inside? The relationships you have with yourself, with your heart, your soul, your spirit, with others, relationship with your physical location or your identities, your personas. Does your identity change when you're at work versus when you're home with the kids or the grandkids? Of course it does. And now we're going to look at E. After E, that it's created by the meaning-making processes. Well, this will be kind of similar to the last one, but I think it'll make more sense straight away. There's your stair steps to enlightenment, to transcendence. That's all frequencies. In the section that follows, 2 or 3 sections after this, I make recommendations in a library that you get. I make right up front 5 specific books, including Eckhart Tolle's On the Worth. This is one. This is one of the most brilliant pieces of work I have ever read, including after I left the first library in my out-of-body experience. This man is a genius, or was. He's gone home now. It's an incredible piece of work. And he discusses the different frequencies of these different emotional or feeling states of being. On the right side, Dr. Hawking's different states of being. On the left side, category of level. Ego versus the heart versus spirit versus soul versus God's omniscience. And incidentally, when I look at the word God, for me, it doesn't mean it's for you. It's just a different point of view. Remember that world with all those lines on it? For me, it represents the grand operating design. It also represents the Gestalt's omniscient divinity. Highly recommend you look up the word Gestalt. Now, Hawkins showed one level for love, but in reality, there's multiple levels of love. Do you know how to go to one of those levels, experience that frequency, and have your biophotons match that frequency and be picked up by the person you are next to at a subconscious level, and then they get a certain feeling? Look up the word biophoton frequencies and the science that's now being done about that. I'd also submit that the Greeks, to my knowledge, did not have a word above the 7th level. I think there is a 7th level, an 8th level, and I think it's allowing. When the parent allows their child to leave the home, or for some parents that have had a horrible experience with their child committing suicide or dying, you've allowed them their free agency. That's what the mother, father did for us when we left, wherever it was we came from. They allowed. There's where the tears show up. And when the tears wash the cheeks, you know you have been inside of the library of eternal truth. Tears never, ever lie. After emotions, frequencies, we end up with two different R's. One is resistance, fight or flight, cognitive dissonance, holler, yell, swear, fisticuffs. I would like to pose a question. What if anxiety is a fear you're going to lose something that you highly value, but that belief that's generating that anxiety frequency at a low amplitude level is in your subconscious cellar, in the deep, dark, dank cellar where you have no awareness, flashlights, or light bulbs. But fear nonetheless, that's what it is. It just hasn't grown up yet into a trauma or a state of terror. And if you don't get it resolved, it's going to go down that stair step. That belief is going to eventually create PTSD. Count on it. It's looking to be heard, acknowledged. It wants help. Your beliefs, identities, staring you in the face. Later on, after we have gone through the conscious operating system, there's a number of different tools that I'm going to share with you. Years ago, I became a certified neurolinguistic practitioner, and there's a couple of different NLP model changing processes, one called the core transformation, where you actually learn how to talk to a specific belief, get its name, find out what it wants, find out what it's scared about, find out why it's pissed off, and make it become one of your best friends forever. I guarantee you, you will cry. It is so elegant. You can feel free to contact me anytime you like. These things have got to get out into the world. And R number 4, responding, Go to work. Get busy. Remember the word carpets? We did that before. No, you don't remember. I know. There's, there's an awful lot here. Trust me. I've been at this for 10 years. And over 550, 600 books. Not to speak of the book that I got to read in the library that I went to. And that some are still downloading. Just one. I propose that that is the map describing everything that constitutes anything and everything. And no, I am not, for you naysayers, because I've been there. I'm not selling the manual. I'm helping you create your manual. It's your life. It's your manual. It's your book. Now there's the attributes of consciousness, but without conscious feedback through the belief controlled filters, creating deletion, distortion, denial, et cetera, none of that other stuff works. All of those attributes have got to be working together. That's it. Socks, cessed fads, the paver model. And where do beliefs come from? What's this mean about me, the IQs, and how does this matter? That creates an energy frequency, expands the energy, and that will either birth a belief or reinforce and strengthen the belief. And beliefs, when they're really strong, we call them values. Again, part of the P category. I guarantee you. I have gone through so much agony in my life with deception on this world. And I had to figure out a way to live peacefully within myself in a very mentally disturbed planet of people desperately needing the alarm clock that woke Rip Van Winkle up. They haven't set the alarm clock. Feel how this feels. Just feel it. So as you can see, we have a we have a lot of expeditions yet to do. Tools for the matrix of your mind's passport. Passport is the invitation to go to new places, to find the new. The new is never found in old places. That's why it's called the new. And the tool, including the CREGS visas, constructing, employing, and exploring alternative x-axes contexts and y-axes CREG matrices. Those words sound confusing now, I understand, but you'll totally get it when we go into those laboratories. How much time? Depends on the student. And festive occasions, elation, amazement, excitement, unbelievable, aha. And our world. I need to hear from you. Pros or cons, how you can help. This world is fragile, and so are its inhabitants.